What's up, guys? I wanted to discuss two quick topics. One of my own volition, another one that was asked for by a follower of mine on YouTube. The first one is, when you're on a cut, you don't really want to waste calories getting them from liquid sources of calories. And what I mean by that is drinking juice, soda, things like that, because they pack a lot of calories and a lot of your carbs specifically, and they're not filling. Now, you can have a glass of soda and, you know, easily have 200 calories, and that's not filling in any way whatsoever. So that's going to end up leaving you hungry, especially when you're on low calories and limited carbs. You're just going to be left hungry, and it's going to make it much easier for you to go off your diet, you know, eat more calories than you want to every day. So definitely avoid liquid calories as much as you can. Now, if you're getting from a protein shake, that's a different story. A lot of people use protein shakes to get in their protein for the day and also around their workouts. And second, milk is okay too. Milk is nutritious, a good source of protein, and if you're if you're drinking whole milk, you're going to be a good source of fat. So that is more satiating than, say, juice or something like that. So milk and protein shakes are okay. Other sources of liquid calories, guys, I highly recommend keeping them out of your diet when you're cutting. The other topic a buddy of mine on YouTube wanted me to discuss was sugar. Now, I know sugar is the boogeyman nowadays, just like saturated fat was back in the 80s and probably in the 90s. But sugar it gets a really bad rep. Let me just explain one thing. When you have a complex carb, when it gets into your body, what's it break down to? Sugar. All carbs in your body break down eventually into glucose, which is just your simple sugar molecule. Now, the reason foods that are high in sugar are really not sometimes so great to include on a cut or on your diet is because, again, it comes to that satiation effect. They're not very satiating. They digest very quickly, so they're in and out of your stomach very quickly, and as a result, you're left hungry afterwards. I mean, just think about it. You can sit down and eat a big bowl of cereal, a big bowl of, say, you know, Lucky Charms or Fruit Loops or something like that, and an hour later, even though you just had 600, 700 calories, which is quite a bit when you think about it, an hour later, you could be hungry. That's because the food digests very quickly. The sugar doesn't really have to get broken down in the digestion process. Now, if you ate 600 calories worth of, say, sweet potatoes or brown rice, you're going to be pretty full, and you can be full for a while. That's the big difference. Sugar itself is not bad. It's not the enemy, but eating too much high sugar foods can make it harder to stick to your diet and feel satiated. And that's one thing. You don't want to feel like you're always hungry. The more often you feel hungry, the more likely you are to eat something and go off your diet. And also, if you're feeling hungry all the time, just psychologically, you're gonna think you're torturing yourself. You don't want that. So, in general, it's better just from a satiation standpoint to stick to more complex carbs than sticking to foods with a lot of sugar. Now, if you want to stick to some of those in as on your cheat meal, or just as some of that 10 to 20% of your calories that I recommend that you have as junk food, that's perfectly fine, guys. That's perfectly fine. Just don't try, or I'm not going to say don't, but try not to make it a main source of your calories, you know, high sugar food. Now, if for whatever reason you are able to eat high sugar foods and stay satiated and not go over your calories and not binge and not go off your diet, more power to you. Eat them as you wish. But just from my experience and from what I've seen from clients, as a general rule of thumb, high sugar foods will end up leaving you hungry. You'll end up wanting to eat more, and then psychologically you could end up thinking, oh God, I'm starving here, I'm not eating enough, when in reality you're getting a lot of calories. So I hope those two pieces of advice you can work into your program and hope it helps your fat loss and helps you get cut. What's up, guys? I wanted to give you a little training footage in this episode. Show what I've been doing in the gym over the past week or so. Here I'm setting up to do some pause squats. If you've been following my channel, you know that I started to institute pause squats into my routine. I find this is a great technique to really bring up your quads. I really feel the burn in my quads, and also it really helps to strengthen your core since you're holding that weight in that position for just a longer period of time. And you don't get that bounce out of the bottom, that stretch reflex that really helps you get the weight up out of the hole. Another reason I started instituting it, as you know if you've been following my channel, is I've had a little knee caving on my right knee when I'm doing my squats, and from filming myself and analyzing the film, I've noticed that often it seems to come and start when I'm coming out the hole, so I could just have some weakness in my right side coming out of the hole. So pause squats really help increase your strength coming out of the hole. So obviously from a strength and a muscle growth aspect, they're very helpful exercise, and for me personally, getting that strength out of the hole and that evenness between my right and left leg, it's just an added benefit. So here's another set, same workout, not pause squats this time. I did 4 sets of pause squats at 265, which is the weight you just saw me doing, for 8 reps on each set. Then I decided to just do some regular squats. I put 310 on the bar, and I did 2 sets of 6. So here's one of them. And now, one thing that I do want to point out, as form-wise, as you can see my elbows flaring back. That's causing my upper back to come forward a little bit. There's so much when you're doing a squat that you have to focus on to get your form right. That's one thing. I have to bring my elbows down and keep my upper back tight. But as you can see, this is 310 beltless. Not horrible. If it just wasn't for that one little form tip that I just mentioned that I saw that I was doing wrong, the squats would look real good, and I didn't really have much knee caving there at all. It's almost non-existent. So that's telling me that those pause squats are working and helping, and hopefully over time I can get rid of it totally. So here's another, this is a different day. I did some, this is an upper body routine, and I just wanted to get a quick shot. Here I am doing overhead presses in a wide press fashion. If you've ever seen my video on the tips for building big shoulders, especially big side delts, I go into a lot of detail on wide presses. This is one of my favorite exercises for really building up your shoulders, especially that lateral head, guys. If you notice how I'm doing them, by keeping my hands out and not bringing them in, a lot of focus on the lateral head. Hey, what's up, guys? Kev here with Kev-D Fitness. It is April 17th, Thursday before Easter, and I took a day off of work. I'm gonna hang out with my wife. I'm gonna go do some hiking with some friends. So my usual routine for my workout and for my fat loss program is obviously in total flux, because typically Thursday I go to work, I do cardio in the morning, then I come in, I lift weights in the evening, do an upper body routine. Obviously I can't do that today. So the good thing about the way that I set up my routine is that I have flexibility within it, and that's something you want to keep in mind, guys. It gets very tough when you get into a very structured routine where Monday is chest, Tuesday is back, and if you miss a Monday, well, and you can't push things forward, then you're screwed and you're not hitting your chest for 2 weeks. So make sure that you work some flexibility in. I do an upper lower routine. I got some days in there where I don't lift, where I can move things around, and that's not a problem. Now, as far as missing cardio, well, we're going hiking, so that's going to be my cardio for today. And one thing I do advise, guys, when you can, make your cardio something fun that you enjoy. I talk to so many people who tell me, and I have clients that say this too, like, what do I have to do, kind of like in this voice, oh, you mean I have to do cardio? Because they hate cardio. People don't like it. A lot of people, and some people do. You know, some people do. Some people like to go running. Some people like to ride their bikes, and that's great. Great forms of cardio. And if you enjoy it, get out there and do it. But a lot of people don't, especially a lot of guys who just really want to lift and look jacked. They don't want to spend 30 minutes on the treadmill. They don't want to go jogging. They don't want to ride the bike in the gym. And it is kind of a necessary evil. So when you can work into your routine fun things that you just enjoy doing instead of 30 monotonous minutes on the treadmill or 30 monotonous minutes riding the bike or the elliptical, God forbid, you know, do it. You know, I'm going to be going hiking. That's a lot more fun for me than the 30 minutes I would have spent jogging around the track this morning. I'll take that every day. On the weekends, I play basketball. I don't do another cardio session where I have to go jogging. I play basketball. That's a lot of fun. So, you know, keep your routine flexible, and when you can, try to fit in fun cardio so it's not so monotonous and boring. I know cardio can get like that. Just a couple other things, guys. I'm starting to see more cuts. On the scale this morning, I broke under 206 pounds. I was 205.8 pounds, so I'm making some pretty good progress. Obviously, as the week goes on, I get more and more glycogen depleted, so a lot of my weight loss is, you know, less glycogen and then the associated water that glycogen pulls into your muscles. So, but I'm losing fat too, I'm sure. I've noticed that when I go to put on my weight belt, I can, what used to be a very tight fit is now a loose fit. So I'm losing weight, so things are looking pretty good. I will give you an update at the end of the week on Sunday to see my results for my third week. And until next time, guys, I'll talk to you again. Bye.